Oh, hi, everybody. Let me just turn up the sound for you. Testing, testing. Is that better? Good. Okay, here I am in Melbourne with Dave from Moonride. Hi, all. How cool is this? We've been burning the candle at both ends, really, in many ways. Okay, but here we are, and we've got some questions going on. Now, the first question, Dave. Oh, forgot to turn off the phone.
Phone always rings when you're making a video.
It's one of the laws of physics
It's
or
one of the
something.
laws of hard readers.
Yeah, card readers, totally. Okay, now let's talk golf for a minute here, Dave. I'm a sports pig, as you all know, but I draw the line at golf. I don't think I've ever actually seen a whole game of golf because life's too short. But many people do love it, are obsessed by it. And now there's all this talk out there because the Saudis have bought into and created LIV Golf, which is a whole thing, you know. So I'm going to throw this question to you, Dave. What do you think this effect this is going to have, the Saudi stuff and where the money comes from and whatever else you pick up on it?
Okay, you want me to channel this or just give me my opinion?
Give me your opinion.
Well, let me just, that's the one thing I find very interesting about this is, conservatives play golf and conservatives don't generally like Saudi Arabia as a rule. So it's kind of a contradiction there. Yeah. You'll notice they keep criticizing Biden. No, your cousin got $20,000 from China, blah, 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 blah. Well, what rich person doesn't get $20,000 from China? I mean, among other things, it's not illegal. It's just you're dealing with a foreign power. And it's pretty hard to argue that the Chinese are worse than Saudi Arabia. Of course, we're speaking of the government, not the people. So
it's a sliding scale,
yeah,
of crap.
It's of course,
isn't it really?
Yeah. So I'm curious to know. I mean, I kind of was interested in this topic because I wonder. I do hear rumblings from conservative quarters and people I know who are conservatives who don't really get it. Of course, they're not super fond of Muslim religion, and of course, the history of the world is, presently affected greatly by these people. So
yeah, and it's one of those great mysteries of all time when 15 Saudis were responsible for 9/11 out of 19, that the reaction was to ignore all of that, bomb Iraq, and keep doing close business with the Saudis.
Yeah. What didn't slow down.
What is that about?
Yeah. Good questions. So should we channel it? Or do you want to do the cards?
No, you channel.
Okay, I'll channel. All right. Okay, so we're going to take a look at
Saudi and golf.
Saudi and golf. Okay, this is so funny. Here's Trump and he's golfing and he's just hit the sound trap. So he's there and he's at the sound trap and people are kind of, he's really embarrassed and people are kind of snickering and, so there's this, I think, again, this is very symbolic. He's sort of in a sand trap. This is not going to help his, move to become the president. And the people snickering are kind of like, haha, look at your mistake. Those people who would oppose Trump will see this as a mistake. That's what I think the people snickering on the sidelines are. And he is just a chew toy. I mean, he's looking at these Saudi Arabian people and they're just looking at him like, what a dope, like this guy's on a leash, he just needs money so bad. He'll do anything. He'll ignore the murder of Khashoggi just so that he can get money out of us. And these, what's 100 billion to them? It's just he's a really cheap date.
Well, he's cheaper than his son-in-law. Didn't they give him 2.5 or something?
$1 billion. Yeah.
B's in front of that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And he's got away with that. That could be a question. So much for the list.
Yes.
Will Jared ever be held responsible in some way for some of his dealings with the Middle East?
Okay, golden handcuffs. First thing I got is he's got a gold on one wrist. So, it is. I'm not seeing like anything other than he is kind of permanently tied to this Like he'll never get beyond the reputation of being that sellout. It's not even clear who's, it's not like there's another person with a handcuff. That's too vague. It is, he will forever be chained to this decision and this money, and there's something else. Well, maybe we'll just ask Spirit more directly. Will there be consequences? He looks disappointed. There might be some hearings around it. This won't occur, I think, for some time. So it will be a couple of years before anything is done at all.
Okay, well, I'll just pull a few cards
Yeah.
on that and let's see what they are. Look, I think I tend to agree with what you're saying here. I think it's actually been started, but the moon card, we're not seeing what is happening. There is some movement here. They're getting their ducks in a row before, because they've got to, it's almost like going for the Yeti himself, going for Kushner. So they've got to be super careful. It's all nailed down before they make a move. I think it'll come as a bit of a surprise to him. I think he'll have, I agree with you over this longer time frame. I think he'll be getting on with his life, which is, doing crimes daily before and after lunch. And he'll be, what do you mean you want to speak to me about this? Final card, judgment. I haven't thought about Kushner for months.
Wow, right. So you feel like he'll finally get some comeuppance?
Yeah, but I agree with you that there's a dragging the chain here.
Yeah.
Until the whole thing's over.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you've got a question for me.
Sure. And it is about McCarthy, what he's being threatened. Will he survive his speakership? What's up with McCarthy in that situation?
Yeah, McCarthy, because the hard right, far right, you can't find enough rights really to describe these people. And they want to punish him for the debt ceiling and stuff. So have they got any teeth? Or, will they make him uncomfortable or will they get rid of him?
Yeah,
I guess
follow up about, I don't want to confuse the issue, but I'm going to ask about the division in the Republican Party.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll do that next. Okay, so this is about Kevin McCarthy's esteemed speakership. Have a look here. Well, he does get the Wheel of Fortune coming up here. We've got the walking away card. Maybe he'll walk before he's pushed. But he gets this card, the Lover's card, which is rarely about lovers, particularly when we're talking about these gobsmackingly horrendous people. I think he's got more allies now after the debt ceiling stuff than he did before. I think that's my vibe on this, in that because grown-ups like Janet Yellen had to explain the ABCs of a working democracy to these people. I think a few more grown-ups, it mightn't be as easy to get rid of him as we all originally thought with that weird deal. There's celebration here. So maybe they cause enough upsets to keep them happy. Maybe. But when I read on him recently, I got that they were going to push him out because they only need one vote. He agreed to that because he was a desperate man hanging off a bridge by his toenails, and he agreed to everything. So I'm going to come down slightly inconclusive on this, but I think the interesting thing is more allies than we thought.
So he actually did some success. So the next question is, of course, is this division that's coming about, what will be the effect of this kind of division within the Republican Party? It seems ideal for Democrats. They're fighting each other.
Yeah, let's say, I'm going to throw it to you, Dave.
Okay.
moving forward with the GOP and the split that's happening.
Okay,
What do you
great.
get?
Let's see. Lots of fighting, of course, but it's even more essential. They don't trust each other. One thing is, through this whole Trump years, they, threw any Republican under the bus. So, Mueller's a Republican. The attorney generals were Republicans. They were conservative Republicans. So everybody is afraid that they're going to be sacrificed on the altar of this. They're afraid of the voters. They're just afraid. And so they're starting to attack each other. And it just has the feeling of it, this inevitability. When you stick with this person that's terribly divisive and you live in delusion, right? What do you think is going to happen? Eventually, you're going to be fighting each other. Ooh, it's really cutthroat too. I see guys, with knives getting ready to slash each other's throats. They're not friends. And I got to tell you, that matters. It does matter. It does matter when you're with the Republican people and your caucus truly believes in what you're doing. I mean, it certainly has helped Biden's people that they believe to some degree in what they're doing. They're not leaking. They're not throwing each other under the bus. Let's see if there's anything else about this. It's really going to help Biden. This is a really funny image. There's a golden cup kind of floats through the air, and Biden's, it's like that mate tea. Has a sip.
South American reference.
Yeah, he seems very satisfied with it. He's smiling ear to ear. I really do think this is a miracle for the Democratic Party.
Okay. I'm not going to draw on that. Let's roll with that.
Okay.
Love that.
You like that happy ending?
Yeah. Now, I've got another one for you, Dave.
Okay.
Georgia on my mind. So they're still plowing through the people who actually allowed access to not Trump supporters in the magazine, Trump associates behind the scenes with the Georgia election. And now a woman has been interviewed and her name's Misty Hampton. What is it with the GOP and porn stars? If I said to you, Misty Hampton, what's your first association?
It's a Barbie.
It's a Barbie. Sorry if there's any Misties out there, but
nothing personal.
That's just
Misty Hampton. It is a stage name if I ever heard one.
Yeah, really. What were her parents thinking? Okay, so I'll give you a moment to settle. She's just given testimony. Will it matter?
Cheerful Misty Hampton. That's what I see sitting on a court. It's just like Kushner. You had no idea that you could actually get in trouble for doing illegal things. It's like they just graduated from 6th grade and they don't know what the consequences are of the, obviously criminal actions. It's like, there's a certain level, again, it's all about this sort of denial. It prevents you from thinking out the future and the consequences of your actions. You believe everything you do is God-given and right. And that's, I think, kind of culturally essential that these people are confronted with. We have these laws and you don't transcend them. And she's looking tearful. I think she might go to jail because I'm seeing her in handcuffs. And it's one of those situations where it's either she's in handcuffs and they're saying, you either turn state's evidence and you tell the truth of this, or we're going to send you to jail for a long time, not 5 minutes, but many years. She is not a young woman. She will not do well in jail. So I think that this is extremely like a torture for her, that she has to tell the truth. She has to go against them. And it's kind of, talk about karma. It's really karmic that she is being confronted with her, her adherence to the Trump delusion.
That's really interesting. And the handcuffs, they're not furry handcuffs like Melania had. No. Okay.
They're looking bad. Right.
Oh dear. Now I think you've got one for me.
That's right. It's about Mark Meadows. He appeared before the jury in the election probe, but there's actually 2 election probes, 3 grand juries that he's in. Again, talk about karma, right? Mark Meadows is on two levels. He is
Yeah.
forced to testify. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. My new name for Mark Meadows is Satan's Poodle. Don't you think it sums it up?
I think it sums it up perfectly.
Okay, so there's two things. He's been questioned on the election probe and the classified documents. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards on Satan's Poodle. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Mike Meadows. Oh. Okay. What we've got here. Oh, something weird just came up on my screen. Ignore that. Okay, 9 of Wands. I think this is more or less how he'd be feeling. I think, like you were just saying, so many of them don't realize what they're doing. Being illegal is actually an issue because they live in Trump land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think he's now paying the price for that. He wants to have a future and have a life and have a retirement, preferably that's not in San Quentin or Rikers or something. Is San Quentin even there, or did they close it down?
I don't know.
But he's pushed by he's had this realization. If he wants to have a life going forward, he has to cooperate. This is the 2 of Cups here, to cooperating into inquiries. He too gets the Judgment card.
Mm.
And the last card is not warm and fuzzy, you'd have to say. His last card is not good. I don't think this is the Yeti thing, because part of me, I don't think Trump even follows a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
why bother?
Why
Yeah.
bother? We're struggling to keep on top of it, and he's only operating on a quarter of a brain cell. So I think this is Mark Meadows. He thinks because he's cooperating right from the beginning, he'll be okay, but maybe he won't.
Now, can I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
I want to know if Mark Meadows is going to go to jail or turn, or both.
No, well, I think this is the thing.
He
has turned in the sense.
Okay.
Because remember, I'm sure you guys would remember too vaguely, quite a few months ago, his staff gave everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
He knew that. So at that point, he was cooperating, but the Yeti, because he doesn't watch real news, he only looks in the mirror, like really.
Right.
So the Yeti probably didn't know for 2 years, like it's like that.
Right.
Okay, now I've got one for you, Dave.
Sure.
Yeah, with these 2 inquiries with Jack Smith. Now, Jack Smith, as we know, has taken up residence, living rent-free in Trump's head. Okay, 2 inquiries. One's in Washington and one's in Florida. So why are there 2, a state and a federal? Wouldn't you think federal would supersede state or whatever? So what do you pick up on that, Dave?
Yeah, we just read this morning, and it's a question, like, why both? Why have them in 2 different places, especially why do it in Florida? So no one knows yet, ostensibly. Let's see, at least it's not public knowledge. So why are they doing it in 2 different states? Okay, it's going in 2 different directions, like a V. So I get from the V, and then it splits in half. So I get from the V, the source is the same, it's the same source, same problem, but it's going in 2 different directions. Why is it going in 2 different directions? Why, let's just say, why Florida, Spirit? I think there are witnesses in Florida. It might be that it is still the same case. It's just they have witnesses in different places. It's not, you can't really ask Floridians to go spend 1.5 years in DC just to be a witness on something. Jack Smith is thinking about this. It's like you don't want to punish the witness by making them, live in DC for 1 year. That's just, it's not fair. So is it going to be the same case, Spirit? I get 2 judges and they come together. So I think it is the same case. It's just being approached in a different way. Also want to know, will there actually be a case in Florida? Like, will people, a jury, all that stuff? And I'm kind of getting a no. I don't think that there will be a separate legal case in Florida. That would make no sense. But let me make sure. So what about, could there be a state and a federal inquiry? Things are kind of moving around. I'm not sure that it's entirely settled that it will be just one inquiry. I think they're still putting those blocks together. But I'm actually seeing Jack Smith going, no, probably not. That would confuse the issue, right? If there's one issue, there's no reason to have it be two different directions. But I also get the feeling like a state adjudicator could do this after I am done. It could be done in both states. It's just that they don't have necessarily anybody in Florida at this time who would adjudicate or prosecute. So it seems also that Jack Smith says he doesn't want to lose the control of that information. He wants to keep that control. So it is very judicious of him also that we don't ostensibly know, right? Because that's keeping Trump on his toes.
Yeah. How many toes do Yetis have? I'm thinking of a three-toed sloth or something.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a quick pull on these cases. So, all right, Jack Smith, I would say, is here. This is the King of Swords. I think with these two pages of messengers and there's Two of Wands are strategizing. So I think there's a message about strategy, which is what you were saying. But I'm thinking here with this Page of Wands, the compelling speaker, the case, it could be presented if there are state charges involved with particularly the classified documents. You can't be pardoned for a state crime. So the Page of Wands is a smart cookie, but it's a burden on Jack Smith in a way to have to make this final decision. The problem for all these prosecutors is there's so much stuff. There is so much crime, so little time.
Right.
So it's this constant dilemma. So I think there will be two, and we can keep looking at it in future months, whether it'll merge or whether it's merging and they're going to pull them apart.
Right.
Because at the moment, I agree. I don't think they've decided finally because there are pluses and minuses. Oh my God. All right. Now, we've got to go to a birthday party soon. So before we do that, Dave, I'd like you to tell the intrepid viewers, one and all, about, because you've got more than one channel now.
I do. Yeah.
I'm out of touch, love.
Okay, well, second channel is Pyramid 4, and I don't know why you still can't find it. I have to work out all those techie SEO rule things, but the videos are also, really, quite long, and they're all channeled, and they're not necessarily political subjects. So it's very much a different set of people, but I find them very, very interesting, especially because I don't know what I say, so I actually watch my video afterwards to find out what I found. It's really quite interesting in that regard. But still love the political stuff, and I still do my old political stuff because I find that just to be so interesting and compelling and very current.
Sure. Sure. So if people want a reading from you, what are the things that you do privately?
So I'm glad you asked, because it is a little bit confusing for my viewers and readers and all that stuff. Is I do readings, and they kind of do what many people do. You might speak to people who have passed, you might ask about future, you can ask about, often guides show up in those kinds of mediumship type readings. I also teach people how to channel. Very fun and exciting.
Remember that if you're interested in learning how to channel.
Right. You can actually go to Pyramid 4 and you can see someone that I'm teaching to channel too, if you want to get an idea about that. I also do past life work, past life regressions in the form of hypnosis. Those are I find them life-changing. And the problem with the three of them is that I enjoy them all three so much, along with the political channel, that I just kind of all over the map too. It's a little bit confused. I still don't have an elevator pitch about what I do because
right.
I just have to think about it.
And is all that on your website?
It is all on my website.
So that's Dave Johnson Moonride.
It's just moonride.com/au or .au, I think.
Moonride.com.
You'll see it on my little box under all my videos. There's a link to them.
Cool and window. Well, there you go. We have to go, and it's been great having Dave here today, but also having him here in Melbourne. We've had a lot of fun.
Yes, we have.
And a few cocktails have been had in celebration of this. So love to all you guys. And I'll be back soon, and you can track down Dave on moonride.com. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.